Welcome along everyone to another video here at Precision Golf. Today I want to talk to you about over the top. Now it's something that I hear quite a lot. People walk onto my mat and say, I've always had this over the top motion. Well, over the top, let's talk about it. What do we see as a golfer? I've got a little post down here on the floor. This is giving me a sensation of the arc of the golf swing and also the ball to target line. When a golfer makes a backswing, the first thing they look at is the shoulder and the handle and the club head moving forwards. Let's talk about the shoulder first, because again you hear people talk about throw my right shoulder at it. Well, I'm going to take the club and my hands out the equation, and I'm going to put myself into my posture. As I make a backswing, if I didn't move my right shoulder forwards, you're therefore saying I need to move my right shoulder downwards. So my right shoulder's now going down. Ask yourself the question, is my body unraveling? Is it turning back to straight? Is it turning? No, it's not. But my right shoulder is going down. So I turn and face the camera, I make a backswing, and I make my right shoulder go down. Now, some would say this looks like an impact condition. But for me, personally, that looks more like an impact condition when my body's unraveled. So, the first myth that I'd like to talk to you about is the fact that that right shoulder must, in some shape or form, move forwards in your downswing. The right shoulder must not move down, because if the right shoulder moves down, you're creating more side bend in the spine. Now what that unfortunately does is, if we think about the circle as a whole, if I make my right shoulder go down, it'll make the bottom of the circle strike the floor back here before the golf ball. And if you do that, well, that's an ugly situation, especially in the winter time, isn't it? Going to hit some mud first, or grass, depending on how good your golf course is in the winter. So let's change that theory and that thought that this right shoulder must move down. And a good way to think about that is, if I just stand perfectly upright and I make a backswing, a rotation, my right shoulder must move forwards. What I wouldn't do is move sideways and keep my right shoulder back, because all I'm then left with is my arm action. So the right shoulder, whether you're standing upright, whether you have a really steep posture, the right shoulder must, in the downswing, move forwards. How that shoulder reacts is up to you. So I would strongly recommend you to make that right shoulder move forwards. So that's over the top thought moved out of the way to start with. The second one is the fact that the handle and the club head now look like they're going out this way. So we've taken the shoulder out of the equation, because I could keep the shoulder back and still move the handle out, couldn't I? The shoulder is definitely moving forwards a little bit, but less than it would be if someone was thinking about moving the shoulder forwards. But if I keep the shoulder back and I push the handle forwards, shoulder's not moving, but the handle's moving forwards. My question to you is, if the handle's moving forwards, and this is my ball to target line, and I do two of the things that most golfers try to change, move the shoulder forwards and move the handle forwards, I'd ask the question, at that point there, relative to the ball to target line, I've exaggerated how much the handles move forwards. I've exaggerated how much my shoulder moved forwards. My question to you is the club head outside the ball to target line at this point? The answer is no. Club head is still very much inside the ball to target line. So at the pull phase in the golf swing, from backswing to downswing, the golfer is purely moving the right shoulder and the handle forwards. That is absolutely not making that club head move outside the ball to target line at this phase of the golf swing. I'd arguably then say to you, if I then applied force down into the handle, down this way, I would then ask you, did the golf club ever move outside the ball to target line? It absolutely didn't. I moved the handle forwards, I moved the shoulder forwards, handles over the cane. That's how far out I've pushed that handle. Is the club head outside the ball to target line? Absolutely not. Now if I was to create force down into the handle, did the club head ever go outside the ball to target line? I know I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I'm trying to labour the point that the handle moving forwards, the shoulder moving forwards, are two elements that do not make the club head go outside the ball to target line. The only thing that makes the club head go outside the ball to target line is the club head. And so if I held my right shoulder back, if I held my hand back and I unloaded the golf club, can you see that the club head is the only thing that's going outside the ball to target line? But if I'm not moving my shoulder and I'm stopping my hands from coming forwards, well, Christ, something's got to move. And so if you're going to hit the golf ball with the club head and you're holding the shoulder back and you're holding the handle back, the only thing that's going to move is the club head. And so let's understand, if the club head is trying to move out, where's that face now pointing? That face is now pointing over here. It's pointing to the left, isn't it? And the reasons why it's pointing to the left is you're so fed up with slicing it to the right. So the fact that the club head is swinging out is the symptom to all of this over-the-top action. That's what you're truly seeing as your over-the-top action. Because if you move the club head out forwards and the club head was still back here, and you saw a divot going that way through the turf, you would pay no attention to the fact that my shoulders move forwards and my handles move forwards. So the over-the-top movement that we all catch on to is really the head moving over the top. So I'm just going to move this little pole out the way now. And so I'm going to throw the club head over the top. You can see my right shoulder's not moving, but my club head is. As I say, the shoulder doesn't move, the handle doesn't move, something's got to move, and so therefore you can see how the golf ball went to the left. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make exactly the same motion, and then I'm going to make my club face more open. So now my club face is more open. I'm going to throw the club head over this way. I shanked it. You may have experienced that. But the ball would have gone to the right. I'm going to try that again. So the club face is open, throwing the golf club over, and we'll try and hit it. You see how the ball popped right up into the net, got it out the middle of the face. It's so violent with the data, the TrackMan's not picking it up. But let me tell you that that golf ball would be slicing a hell of a long way to the right. But you can also see that the ball has lost all of its loft. Or should I say, it's gained all of its loft. Because I've got an open face and I've got a club head that's swinging outside in. But you saw the first one that I did when I had a square face. If I throw the club head out and move it across, the ball's going to go to the left. Well, at the point that the ball goes left and bends left, the last thing a golfer would want to do is start throwing the club head outwards. Unfortunately, and you're starting to see a bit of a theme here, the over-the-top motion is the symptom. The symptom to stop you from hitting it to the right, which ultimately comes back down to the grip and the face orientation in your golf swing. If you threw the club head over the top, however you see it, whether it's your shoulder, whether it's the handle, whether it's the head, the ball, you're trying to do that to stop the ball going right. So therefore it's a face orientation problem. not an over-the-top problem. The over-the-top is trying to help you not hit it to the right. So if you're going out there once again to try and cure you over the top, you're searching for the wrong remedy. Fix the face. A simple, very simple way of doing that is take your club up in front of you, take your normal grip. Just take normal grip. And without making the grip feel odd, close the club face by 20 degrees. Then take your normal grip and then rotate your forearms to the right to make the face straighten up. Now what you've got is a grip that is trying to, in what you're feeling, is trying to rotate to the left. Well, that's exactly what a good grip does. It tries to bring the face back to straight. But if you've got your grip weak to the left and your forearms are trying to rotate back this way, look how it's trying to open your face. So without even talking about placement of grip on the club, just close it 20 degrees, take your normal grip and rotate your forearms to the right. And then forget your over the top motion and watch your golf ball go over here and have hook on it. Don't change anything else, just keep on hitting golf balls and keep making the ball go to the right. Whether you have to aim more right, whether you have to swing more right. I'm not a massive fan of that, but if that's what you've got to do, that's what you've got to do. But I would really recommend aiming more right and watch your over the top disappear. So watch this video a couple of times. Hopefully that's going to give you some insight into curing your over the top motion. So much content coming your way. I'm really, as I say, getting my teeth into this YouTube lark now and really looking to try to change the way we think about it. This is about education. Educating yourself in how you perceive your golf swing, how you can change it really very, very easy, because this game, I promise you, is super, super easy. Stay with me. I'm going to teach you all about TrackMan. I'm going to teach you all about how we use TrackMan to unravel your golf swings and put them back together and make them better for you. So you can spend your weekend and your downtime to the very best of enjoyment, or the highest of enjoyment. You all have a great weekend out there. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.